Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this week, the first week of January, I am planning with Paper Trail Plans Kit Midnight. It's a black and gold kit, obviously, with light gold foil, I believe. And this is the page with the boxes. This is the layering elements. I love a kit that has a black in it. I always feel like it comes out really, really rich against the foil. So this is the washi. And the date covers, and I also got the second journaling sheet, which has some nice elements to it that I'm going to put in the sidebar. This is the floral deco, which they always do a great full sheet, and I got the foiled deco add-on. So yeah, let's get into it. I feel like I'm going to be so rusty right now. And I'm recording on a slightly different setup than what I usually do. So yeah, I'll catch you all up on what has happened in the last few months since I started recording. So since I started uploading, I guess. So over Thanksgiving break, I built a computer. And by built, I mean like I bought all the parts, I assembled it online. Not online. I bought all the parts after checking online, doing some research, trying to figure out what I wanted and needed. And I bought the components and put them together. And the reason why is that I didn't have a computer that I could use for gaming. So, in addition to gaming, I also want to use it to do more of my editing and video and audio stuff for my YouTube channel. So I am using Windows again for the first time in a long time. I am a classic Linux user by trade, Linux and Mac. And so, I'm using a bunch of different software that I haven't used before. So Windows has Microsoft Clipchamp, which is a program that I've not used before. I think it's their answer to iMovie. And I still think that iMovie is best in show for this. But I see that they've tried to replicate a lot of the iMovie features. I honestly thought I could use QuickTime because that was the program that I thought spanned both Linux and Mac. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to use QuickTime on Windows, but actually QuickTime they said is deprecated in this version of Windows that I'm using, which is Windows 11. And so, anyway, you probably don't care about this, but basically what it is, I'm trying to relearn brand new video editing software and recording, not on QuickTime, which is what I usually do, but on a different program. So please bear with me as I try to figure this out. I am working my way up to some regular uploads. My plan is to try to get at least 2 done a month. And so, we'll see how that goes. I can't promise that they'll be up on Sundays as they always have, but what had previously stopped me from uploading is I'm like, you know what? They need to come out at the same time every week or nothing. I have spoken before about how I tend to be a perfectionist, and this area of my life is not one that's escaped that. So I'm like, if you're not putting out, videos at the same time every single week, then you should just do nothing. And I don't think that that's true. I still, love doing Plan With Me's. The voiceovers can be challenging. That's often a component where I'm like, oh boy, I don't think I have enough to say this week. But I think twice a month may be a manageable workload for me with the other things I've got going on in my life, mainly work. So, just a quick note on this kit is, I did a lot of header and sidebar deco. So that's going to take a good chunk of the time. Also, I am recording, I'm kind of working with the sheet on this mat that I have. So I bought a brand new desk mat that is Lord of the Rings themed, and it's so big it takes up most of my desk. And so it's kind of I don't really want to move it around too much. Like taking it on and off is a pain. So in order to avoid cutting into that mat with my X-Acto knife, I am putting down a cutting, like a mat that I got from Michael's, so that I can work with the planner sheet on it. And that just allows me to kind of cut through onto this mat, which is designed exactly for that. It's not the nicest background, but you know, it's helpful to me because I don't have to like work directly on my desk and risk cutting my desk or cutting my desk mat. So you'll probably be seeing a little more of this. I usually just pick up all the planner kind of stickies, the leftovers on this, but I might give it just a once over with some isopropyl alcohol because you can see some of the like sticky residue on it. But yeah, this kit, I think, you know, was your classic like New Year's black and gold. But also the florals are really, really interesting. Like they went with a kind of light yellow, like a golden yellow, which I thought was really cute. I would love to see a New Year's kit that has some black florals in it. Now I understand the rich black ink is probably really, really not expensive, but it's like a pain to print. It might be a pain to foil because the blacks are so deep when I see blacks in kits. I've mentioned this in the ButterCremeStickers kits that the blacks are so like rich, and that's what I love about them, but I imagine it might be like murder on your printer. So yeah, so you know, since the last time I uploaded, what has gone on? You know, work has been really busy and takes up a lot of my mental energy and time. I have been off work for the last like week. I'm very lucky to have this week in between Christmas and New Year's off. And what I've done with that is really just chilled. So in the past, I've used this time as like, I'm going to catch up on work. My phone reminded me that last year I had this list of things to do every day during break that I could work on. And this year I didn't have a list at all. Now, of course, like on Monday, I'm going to probably peek at some work stuff because truthfully, I have been so relaxed during this break that I have no idea what I'm walking into on Tuesday. And that can be a little frightening because I'm like, I haven't looked at work. I haven't done any work. I can't say I haven't thought about it here and there, but it hasn't like consumed my thoughts. And so, yeah, I'm like, what was I supposed to do? Like, I'm sure there's stuff that I'm forgetting that I probably should remember before I dive right back into it, you know, on Tuesday. Tuesday morning, I think I'm starting with like 3 hours of meetings or something. So I'm like, you better be prepared for some of these meetings and don't just walk in there being like, well, I'm back from break, so I need several days to catch up. No, I mean, I'm gonna try to catch up before I get in there, but I'm sure there's gonna be stuff that I'm forgetting. But I just think that, you know, I've really taken time out this break to enjoy myself and to figure out, hey, like, what do I do when I'm not working? So the answer to what do I do when I'm not working is I plan a lot. I've been doing my 12 Days of Christmas series, which I'm actually doing this year for real. Aren't you proud of me? But I basically have 6 Christmas spreads, and I'm just posting them like one half at a time for the 12 Days of Christmas. I think Monday, which is probably when this is going to come out, will be the second half of the Saucy Stickers kit, which I think it was called Winter Celebration. And that was a rose gold one. And like, I don't know if that was intended to be a Christmas kit, but I made it a Christmas kit. I think it was super cute. Could have been for winter. Like some of the art is people ice skating, and it could have been just winter, but I think I made it Christmas, and I think it works well for Christmas. So, but yeah, I just, you know, I have been going on long walks and hikes with my partner, been playing a lot of Minecraft. I don't know if you all play Minecraft. Now, whenever I tell my coworkers I play Minecraft, they're like, really? Because I think they know it as a game for their kids. And it's a game I've been playing or played, you know, like for a long time. So, Minecraft, the first Minecraft, I think the alpha, which is pre-beta, came out, I want to say in 2009 or 2010. I don't remember. But that's when I first had access to it. It cost $15, which, as a student, I was like, meh, I can spare $20 for this game. And I played that thing so much. Like, it didn't have a lot of the features that it has now, or a lot of the, aspects of the game that it has now. So it still had the enemies. Like, you still, had to avoid creepers, spiders, all of that. But you, you had very simple tools. You could build a pickaxe. I think you could build a shovel. And that was really it. You didn't have all this fancy stuff that they have nowadays. There was still redstone. Oh, not redstone. I don't even think there was redstone yet. Like, we were kind of watching the evolution of the game real time, where they added glowstone. They added the nether, which is I think supposed to be Minecraft's version of hell. They added endermen. They were adding things as we were, they were updating the game as we were going. And so it was, you would get on and play the game and there would be all this new stuff. They added, wolves and cats and, just stuff that, made it more interesting. But, back when it was just straight up, you're building, house out of wood and dirt and stone, that's when we were playing. And I played and played and played and played. There were many mornings that I was in college then. There were many mornings in college where I'd stayed up all night playing Minecraft with my then boyfriend and his friends. And I would be so tired that I would be taking notes in class and had no idea what I'd written. That first, I think it was information retrieval was that class that I had on Mondays and Wednesday mornings. That class, I feel bad for that professor. I think he really, I don't know if I would say he liked me, but I think he was a good teacher, and I swear I slept with my eyes open or closed through a lot of that class because I was tired because I'd stayed up playing Minecraft. This is actually how I got introduced to caffeine, because prior to this in college I had not had much caffeine at all. I had I very kind of natural sleep cycle. I went to bed at a reasonable hour. I woke up. I would have tea some mornings because I grew up with my parents drinking tea, not coffee, hashtag, Caribbean immigrant parents. And so yeah, I didn't really have, I knew other people drank coffee, but coffee to me, which I had tasted once or twice before, just seemed like this really gross, black, just not delicious thing. And so I was like, I guess people are drinking this to get energy. I knew that people sometimes drink soda and stuff, but I didn't drink any of that stuff. I drink tea, I drink water, I drink juice, I would drink non-caffeinated sodas, but I really was not drinking caffeine. And then, after staying up and not being able to pay attention because I was so sleepy in class, my boyfriend at the time was like, why don't you try some Diet Mountain Dew? And if y'all don't know, Mountain Dew was invented, I think, in North Carolina. It originally used to be made with cane sugar, and it had caffeine in it. And, the diet kind was didn't have as much sugar as the regular kind, and certainly not as the cane sugar kind. But I was like, oh wow, I don't feel horrible in the mornings when I drink this after staying up all night. And so that was I don't want to be this was a gateway drug, but it was a quick transition from that to being okay, what else do people do for because this is soda, and I was I don't feel good about this being on my teeth. And people were oh, you can just have a mocha. And I had hot chocolate before, because hot chocolate is delicious. And I was oh, hot chocolate with coffee in it? I can't even taste the coffee. And this is how I got started on my caffeine thing that I am now on as an adult. Now, as an adult, let's say, what do I need? A cup of tea every morning? But, when I don't have any caffeine, I definitely feel like I definitely get like a slight headache. And so, yeah, that was just an unusual experience for me, is like drinking things that had caffeine in them and being on the caffeine cycle. But that's how I got started. Minecraft is to blame. Anyway, so that was a long-winded story. But yeah, I've been playing Minecraft, and some members of my team like started a team server. We played together once. I've been playing by myself, and yeah, I built a little house. I put some carpet down. Like, it's just really fun. It's like kind of a nice, like creative, somewhat even meditative, I think, thing for me, in that you're constructing your own world. You know, there is some like danger. Obviously, you don't want to get killed by the bad things there, but like you get to choose, you know, what you want your house to look like. I set these little goals for myself where I'm like, I want my house to have red carpet. So in order to get carpet, I got to shear some sheep. I got to find some red, like, you know, you just kind of, I don't know. It's like The Sims, but like a lower level down in functionality, because it's like first person, you know what I mean? Like in The Sims, you're manipulating your character's third party, but for Minecraft, you're playing like quote unquote as yourself. So yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed it. I read a lot. I finished this book called Turn of the Screw, which is the book that, I don't know if folks have seen The Haunting of Bly Manor, which is the Netflix special, but that's the book that this is that this is based on. So Turn of the Screw is what Haunting of Bly Manor is based on. And I wanted to read the original work, and it was interesting. You know, I kept, because having seen the show first, I guess I was expecting that the book would follow the events of the show really closely and vice versa, but the book really ends on kind of an anticlimactic note, and the show, I think, definitely takes it further, which of course that makes sense. But that was a really good book. I really love kind of like 18th century Gothic horror and fiction, so it was really great to read that. We watched The Fall of the House of Usher. That show was so good. I mean, Mike Flanagan, who did Haunting of Bly Manor, I gotta watch The Haunting of Hill House, because that's the only one in the like Haunting trilogy that I hadn't seen. But we watched The Fall of the House of Usher knowing nothing about it other than like I had seen online on Reddit people talking about it, and I kept getting like recommendations about like, you should check this show out, it's so good, blah blah blah. And so like, being the, you know, insufferable hipster that I am, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna watch anything popular right now. I guess I just feel sometimes when something's being shoved in my face, I'm like, oh no, like heck no. But you know, it kept getting like put on my rows in Netflix, and I was like, let me just check this out, because you know I love a scary show and or movie, and it was so good. You know, my boyfriend like came across as I was watching it, like just came into the living room. He's like, what are you watching? And we sat there and watched it together, and then it became like, okay, we're watching this together, like as a show together, the two of us. And there are only, I think, 8 episodes, maybe 8 or 9, but they were each of them was so good, and each of the episodes is like an hour long, but oh my gosh, it was such a good show. And so of course then I had to join the subreddit afterwards and like read all the commentary, but it was so good. It's based on the works of Edgar Allan Poe. Like the original story, The Fall of the House of Usher, is an Edgar Allan Poe story, which I had read, but not in a long time. And it was so great to see all the like Poe references throughout. Somebody on the subreddit said like it was like candy, all of the Poe references. And I was like, yeah, like, yes, you know, it was. There were so many things where I was like, oh my gosh, like this is from the, you know, and Mike Flanagan, that is, I should have known that he would do this, because he did this in The Haunting of Bly Manor, where all the episode titles were works from Henry James, who's the original author of Turn of the Screw. And so all of the episode titles of The Fall of the House of Usher are works of Poe and have like Poe infused to it. And I love when someone makes a show and they have done the work to read the source material. So like, I won't, you know, do any spoilers, but like, worth your time. Okay, worth your time if you are someone that likes scary movies and shows. It got scary. There were some times where I was drinking something or like kind of even planning and like looking up and down and like dropped my tweezers or screamed. Cause like, yeah, there were definitely some moments where I was like, okay, that scared me. So be prepared for some scares. But if you don't mind that, or if you like it, if you're like me and you're like, yeah, ooh, that was scary, then definitely watch it. It was such a good watch. I also started randomly watching the Hellraiser series. That's a series of scary movies that I had heard about and just had never watched. And I know that there are like 6 or 7 of them. So, you know, I get on these kicks where I'm like, I'm going to watch all the movies in these series. We did that when we were watching like all of the Aliens and Predators and Aliens versus Predators. So I was like, let me start this. And I didn't realize that the original movie was made in the 80s. And that, like, the special effects on that are just, they look so hokey. It has not aged well. In the 80s, for blood, like, I think at some point, maybe this was the 90s and 2000s, they got around to using, like, congealed strawberry quick. But this one, it's like they didn't even do that. It literally looks like they used, like, maraschino cherry liqueur for the blood. So it just looks really fake, but also gross. Because I'm like, I would not want this maraschino cherry stuff like on me or anywhere near me or like sprayed on me, whether it was supposed to be fake blood or not. Like that just seems really sticky and gross. So yeah, but I think it was an interesting, if not like very wildly implausible story. I feel like the audio mixing was such that I didn't, like, I'm gonna need to watch the next ones with subtitles because I'm like, I clearly missed this. Have you ever like watched a movie and then you think you understand what happened and you go immediately to the Wikipedia or whatever kind of website where it explains, you know, what happened, and I'm like, you're like, I didn't get that at all. That's how I felt about a lot of the plot points of the original, the first Hellraiser. I was like, I didn't understand that. And I'm like, did they not explain it or did I just not hear it? So yeah, I'm going to turn on subtitles next time and for the next one in the series, which I think they made the following year. And I'm gonna see if I can understand it better. But yeah, so I'm watching Hellraiser, and yeah, since the House of Usher finished, I don't know what's gonna be a show that I'm watching. We watched the Kingsman series over break because my boyfriend hadn't seen them. He saw the third one, The Kingsman, because we randomly watched it when I was visiting my sister in Chicago, and I didn't think you had to have seen the previous two because it's supposed to be like a prequel, so I was like, it's fine that you're watching this one first. But he hadn't seen the rest of them, so we watched Kingsman and Kingsman Golden Circle. And I'm like, what happened to Taron Egerton? And then I realized he was in Rocket Man, which I hadn't seen, the Elton John one, which is funny because Elton John is in the Golden Circle, Kingsman, the second one. But I need to watch that now because I thought he, you know, was a good actor. He's apparently Welsh, which is cool. So yeah. So that's what I've been reading and watching. What I'm reading right now, I just started this, The King in Yellow, which is, I think it's a follow-up work to some Lovecraft, like H.P. Lovecraft stories. That is what Mike Flanagan needs to do. That is what Mike Flanagan needs to do. Mike Flanagan needs to do some Call of Cthulhu Lovecraft horror. Yes. Do a trilogy on that, Mike Flanagan and Netflix. Like, somebody start a petition with me. Oh my God, he would do that so well. That would be so well done. But The King in Yellow, I'm not exactly sure what it's about. I'm on the Lovecraft subreddit, and they've been talking about it. Like, they talk about it a lot, as though it's canon. It's not necessarily canon because it's not written by Lovecraft himself, but it's apparently an important work. They made a movie out of it. I know Nicolas Cage has been in some of the movies, but I don't know if he's in this one. But I just want to read it because I haven't read it, and I've read all of H.P. Lovecraft. You know, I am such a purist when it comes to, like, reading and the material that I consume. Like, I have not watched any of the Lord of the Rings movies after the original 3. And I'm just like, if Peter Jackson ain't involved, I don't want to be a part of it. I just, I had a friend in middle school who refused to watch the Harry Potter movies because she was like, it's going to spoil the book for me. Like, I want to remember how, like, the book and the way that I imagine things as they were and not as they are depicted in the movie theater. So, like, those movies came out when I was in 7th grade, and it was like, you know, it was all the rage. Like, oh my gosh, the Harry Potter movie came out. Like, a friend of mine got tickets to the premiere. We, like, slept over. It was a huge thing. And yeah, she was like, I'm not gonna watch this. You know, I'm not gonna watch this ever. And so, yeah, I think as I've gotten older, I've been like, this is non-canonical. I can't support this. Even as someone who, when they were younger, wrote a lot of fan fiction, which is definitely, I mean, it's within the canon, but, you know, anyway. So, yeah. So, King in Yellow is technically not within the H.P. Lovecraft canon because he didn't write it, but I feel like it's widely accepted as being part of the canon. Anyway, I'm sorry, I've nerded all over this voiceover. So, but that's what I've been up to this break. It's just reading, diving deep into my interests, and just really, you know, doing whatever inspires me at the moment, you know, and spending time with my partner. So it's been so refreshing, so soul rejuvenating. And Thanksgiving break was like this too, you know. I get the feeling that week off time is really the, like, sweet spot for me in terms of, you know, feeling refreshed after break. So that's the big clue for me, to start taking more weeks off from work when I can, and just using the time to really disengage and just, you know, be with myself. So that's the end of this spread. Hope y'all enjoyed my return to Plan With Me land, and I will see you all next time. Bye!